We need all the money we can get with this.
Hey, look at that.
Is that what it sounds like?
I think so.
All right. Well, happy podcast today.
Yeah. Welcome to what this looks like a sinking ship on fire going down.
Heck no, we got it together today. We are so far.
No, I'm just still.
The wheels are coming off.
I'm still reeling from the financial implications of us not re-recording our ads. That's 37 cents I'll never get back.
Our bank account has $5 in it.
Woo!
We're living large.
Heck yeah.
Go ahead and get those fries if you want. But just the fries. You don't get the combo meal.
First of all, it's tots.
Oh,
you
tots.
Always go tots if tots are an option.
Oh.
And if tots aren't an option, go somewhere else where tots are an option.
And we're talking potato sides. That's where that analogy is.
Welcome to Potato Talk. We like to call this episode Outside of Idaho.
Ooh. Oh, the Irish Idahoan.
Yeah.
Is that, that's...
I mean, that would be something. You talk about double trouble. I mean, that's
that'd be
just straight
something.
up
I
double
don't know what
trouble.
it would be, but it'd be something.
Yeah. Welcome into a Sinner and Saint podcast, episode 38. 37. Episode 37.
Yeah.
With all those lost episodes, I've forgotten where we are numerically.
It still hurts that we lost those.
37 episodes.
37.
We're dumb.
But you're not for listening. You're better off for it.
Yeah,
for sure.
thanks for listening. Hope you guys are enjoying this. If you
there's
are,
nothing we'd rather do on our weekend than record
find a
these
hobby.
for you, for crying out loud.
I thought about that on the way here today. I was like, "Is this my hobby?"
Is stupid.
No. I was genuinely asking myself, "Oh, I think this is my hobby."
Oh, is this the first time you thought about that?
Yes.
Oh, I kind of came to that conclusion kind of right after the new year. I was kind of like,
yeah.
Oh, this is a hobby. Like this.
I think I always just felt like I was indulging you in something you wanted to do, and then I realized, hey, buddy, you legitimately made cocktails at 7:30 this morning to come and co-host a podcast. But I've always felt like this is Patrick's podcast, and I'm just like the Vanna White.
Come on.
I'm the Vanna White.
You're not. Well, you are Vanna White, but you're. The show doesn't work without Vanna.
It would not. It would not.
She carries the show.
Did you hear? Have you heard that? I guess they batch record like we batch record.
Oh.
But there's a Mexican restaurant across the street from the studio where apparently a lot of the staff, Pat and Vanna included, go and just margarita themselves into blenders, and then they just like go back and record another one.
Is that currently still?
I don't know, because they have to like usher out the audience and rinse and repeat, and so they're like, we've got like 90 minutes to kill. Let's just go margarita it across the street, and then I guess that's when things really start to.
Wow, that's when Sajak gets a little.
Tie comes off.
Starts saying Jackie stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of cocktails.
Speaking of cocktails.
I interrupted your thought.
Well, I heard that was kind of the case back in the day, and that like. To the point that maybe Pat Sajak and Vanna White maybe found other ways to pass the time.
We're certainly not talking about cocaine.
Well, I mean, it could be. It could have been fluffing the pillows.
Eddie,
give us a drink.
When you hear the tone, it will be exactly...
What time? Oh.
Time to get a drink. Just a little drink.
Eddie, if you make drinks at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday, do you have a drinking problem, or do you just have a hobby podcast?
Well, Patrick, I think it means that if you're making the drinks at 7:30 in the morning, you're probably co-hosting a podcast with Patrick.
Oh, are you from Sheboygan, Wisconsin? There?
You don't need to know where I'm from. You had my resume. I falsified half of my application.
Wow, Eddie, this is not what I expected.
You like the drink or not?
Well, tell me what I've got here.
I'm going back behind the bar.
Yeah, all right, go back there, Eddie.
Dan, take it over.
Get back there.
Freaking idiots.
Well, thanks for that, Eddie. Today we're having an old pal. We're old pals. We're having an old pal, Sláinte.
Old pal, Sláinte.
This is rye whiskey, dry vermouth, and Campari. I made it our first drink of the day because I'm positive I'm going to hate it. Because
Really?
I just don't like Campari very much.
It
So
really goes down.
I bet it does. You would want to garnish this with a lemon peel or a lemon twist, but I
Wasn't in the budget this week?
It was not.
We haven't been doing those ads.
I looked at the budget where we were, and I was like, well, that 58-cent lemon is going to sit right there.
So you just wiped your fingers under your armpit and stuck them in, and I'm like, that's good. Good enough for what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we're having today, old pal.
And how do you feel about that?
It's better than I thought it was going to be.
Bad.
But I also bastardized the recipe,
Oh,
and I did half the Campari that it requested.
weak.
But I also typically always do half the Campari in a. It's just, I mean, it's a punch in the tongue.
Yeah, it's
Campari. I mean, not this.
punch in the tongue. You do a lot of that?
I'll punch your tongue right now.
It's very similar to something else we've had. We've had other drinks with Campari on the podcast.
So
I don't remember what they are. People are like, "What was the drink you had in episode whatever?" I'm like, I don't. Boy,
you know what you tell them? Go look up the show notes because the recipes are in the show notes.
Guess what? It's on there. Well, only from season 2.
Yeah. Well.
Is that when we started that, season 2?
The new year, yeah. I guess that is season 2.
Cocktails and
campfires.
Music artists. Two things that I just, I'm like, I don't know. And then a couple of people talked to me about, well, they referenced the episode number, and they're like, well, what you guys were talking about in episode 35. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
There,
you're like, can you remind me?
Listen, I know it's my podcast, but I don't know what in the world is going on.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it's funny because I don't have friends who listen to this and discuss it with me, which I like.
You have to.
And I have friends who listen to it.
They become enemies?
And no, they want to discuss it with me.
Oh, you would all let them.
And I'm just like, I'm glad you like it. That's terrific. And
you're like, it's Patrick's podcast.
Until this morning, I was like, oh my gosh. I co-host a podcast. It's just never a talking point. Like, people don't seek me out to talk about it, but you're also, in your social circles, you are a big figure. Like, people look up to you, and they want to. I know.
Everything. Doesn't matter.
I've hugged you before.
Not just in my social circles.
You're a big figure.
Yeah.
No, so I think people want to come to you and give you feedback, and they want, like...
It doesn't come up a lot.
They want your approval.
It comes up kind of as a side, like...
Yeah.
We've been hanging out for a while, and somebody brings it up, but,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's always weird. It's a little weird, right?
It's weird because I think people listen to this and they just think, oh, wow, I know them better now. And we're just like...
I got so much dirt.
Yeah, we're just being stupid, right? Like, that's the only thing we're doing. We're just hanging out being stupid. And they're like, oh, I got a lot out of that. And it's like, ooh.
Well, that was not the intent. But,
should seek out mental health professionals.
If that's where you're getting your life advice. There's a long way up. Have you heard Brene Brown?
I have.
Yeah.
I've heard some Brene Brown.
They should go check her out.
He's delightful. I couldn't resist. Sorry. Any author, I'm just going to intentionally change the sex of them.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, or just make them all female.
Yeah.
That'd be all right.
Brene Brown is a female.
Yeah, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. That didn't work. No, I do appreciate that this is a hobby. Like,
yeah,
I don't have hobbies like woodworking or things like that. So like, this is the one thing that I do that I kind of am working and crafting and playing with. There's a lot of components to this. Not only is it the drinking component, which is probably my favorite, then it all goes downhill from there. But
wait, you said there was nowhere to go but up.
Oh, yes, that too. But just the technology component, it's as frustrating as technology is, it's also kind of fun when you get it right.
Once you learn it.
Yeah.
It's like, do you remember when you got your first smartphone?
No.
Like, I remember the first time I got an iPhone, I had been a BlackBerry person, which was fine. BlackBerry had apps and things like that, but the iPhone was like, it's so intimidating to me because I was like, oh my gosh, how do I learn what this does? And I confess, I have actually watched YouTube tutorials on like iPhone hacks, where it's like, hey, here's some weird things that iPhone can do that you probably didn't know it could do.
We do that because we're Gen X.
We do.
You're in that bubble with me, Gen X millennial.
I am, yeah. You and I are typically Gen X technically Gen X because millennial didn't start till 81, I think.
81, 82, yeah. So we're right there in that transition.
Yeah, because you were February of 79, I'm January of 80.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, just like that, folks. Send those birthday presents if you missed them.
Yeah.
You got a few years of
guess
catching up.
which day.
Yeah, guess it.
You know what's cool though is that somebody could be listening to this for the first time in like January of 1980 after their time machine got going and being like,
multiverse.
Oh, I'm listening to a dude who just got born. He can't even wipe his own butt yet. It's just a hobby, guys.
These are the deep thoughts
Just
that we're leaving you with here. If you are new to this is Sinner and Saint podcast where we discuss the best and the worst. I kind of like that.
Wow, he's like fascinated by this.
I'm digging the. If you're on the video, I'm showing you our coaster.
You like the War Pigs coaster?
It's kind of Sinner and Saint-ish. It's kind of.
Well, we can contact War Pigs and see if they don't mind if we use that.
Please be a sponsor.
Copyright. War Pigs not a sponsor.
Please be anybody be a sponsor. We got
War Pig.
We do voiceovers, commercials.
That's from a different podcast.
How many podcasts you doing in your hobby and days?
Well, Cammie and I have our podcast where we talk a lot about you.
That's funny. She and I talked this week about you two getting on the podcast, or maybe it was her. I think it was her and Darlene. Maybe we've talked about these things before.
I can tell you right now, there's absolutely zero chance my wife does this podcast,
Absolutely.
or a podcast at all, or leaves the house, or looks at me again.
Things are good, huh?
Yeah.
Things are good. Yeah.
She's a snuggler. You and Cammie were talking about me and Cammie doing a podcast?
She's been crazy lately. She's been
I know. I came in here one day and she was calling you in the middle of a work day.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. She did one of those phone calls the other day, and I was like, "This is what Ben hates." She's like, "You love it," and I said, "Uh-huh." How many?
Sure do, my most treasured one.
I should put something in my calendar of when this goes live and when she's about 2 weeks after we go live.
Oh
and she
gosh.
hears these, so fourth week.
This is going to come out on May 14th.
Late
so
May.
Today's
go
May
ahead and
14th.
schedule that couples therapy session for passive aggressive statements that Patrick makes on the podcast about his family and relationships. Okay, good. No, that's done. That's booked.
Yeah,
great.
you're gonna want to rope in your sister and possibly your mom and.
No.
I don't think Matthew cares because
No. I spent some time back in Missouri recently.
How was it?
Oh, it's always a circus.
Okay.
It's fun. It's we get along together. Well, my sister's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, you're making the podcast, and I hope you're loving it. She's probably still mad and stopped listening, but that's her problem. She's ridiculous. We were in the waiting room at the hospital where my mom was having a procedure.
Okay.
More than a procedure, but we're going to call it a procedure. HIPAA violation.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Good.
She's still with us.
Okay.
Lord willing.
Okay.
And the creek don't rise.
Well, yeah. Shout out to Kay.
Go get him, Kay.
Hope you're doing well, Kay.
Go get him.
We're thinking about you and we're drinking for you.
Yeah. Hey, old pal. So we're just sitting.
Well, you just called your mom old pal. Yeah. Hope you're doing well, old pal.
What's wrong with that?
Also known as mom.
You couldn't get her attention by saying hey growing up. Don't say hey to me. Don't say hey to me. Which today is the modern equivalent of bruh.
Oh, okay.
Bruh.
Don't bro me if you don't know me. Ours was, hey is for horses, aren't you glad you're a cow?
Oh.
If in our house it was like, hey is for horses, aren't you glad you're a cow? And then we're like, I don't eat. So when's dinner?
Yeah. All right.
Stupid.
So we're in the waiting room,
yeah.
and we have our little cubby hole in the waiting room or whatever. And I don't know. I don't even know what Amy was saying. It just comes white noise or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she's in like a rolling recliner.
Amy was?
Yeah. They have these in the It's one of those waiting rooms where sometimes the families need to sleep because they can't be.
Was she ill?
No. Well, she thinks she is.
Okay. Interesting.
Physically.
Okay.
Mentally. maybe.
Yeah, definitely emotionally ill.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's
Our Sunday night talks. We're working through it, Amy. We'll get there, hon. We'll get there. You hang in there.
So I grab her recliner and I just take her and roll her into another section with another family. And I'm like,
You're a Miller now.
I'm like, this is Amy. She's yours. Like,
yeah, we're all done with her.
And she's lazy enough. She's not going to get up and move the chair. So I'm like,
Oh, that's hilarious. So she just like
she did. She sat there.
she chilled with the other family.
Probably an hour. And I'm like, whatever, man. Like,
Wow, that's super weird. It would also be super weird for someone like if they got rolled into my section. I'd be like, nope. I'd be like, I don't care how big you are. You take her back. Like, I'm not going to fist fight you under any circumstances, but you will take this family member back.
well, and then it just kind of becomes this
man.
episode of like how far can we push being socially awkward in a public setting?
Yeah, I've done that
Yeah,
a lot with my family.
Yeah, and we do that a lot in hospitals. For some reason, that becomes the place that we like to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why that did that.
I've done that a lot, especially to my mom growing up. Like, we had to learn how to juggle in PE class. So my mom doesn't know I know how to juggle, and I have to go to the store with her. And so I just grab lemons or apples or something like, hey, check this out. And she's like on that razor's edge of he's about to make a scene. And then I'm just like, no, I'm just juggling. Like, I got this. I had to learn it in PE. It's dumb. This is what our tax dollars
This is what we're doing, yeah.
But then as I got older, there was one time my mom had like an outpatient thing, and she was it was like a dental thing or something. She just wasn't allowed to drive. So she's like, I need to stop by Meijer. And I'm like, okay. And this is like late high school, early college age for me. And you know me, I love a good train wreck, even if I create it. So we're standing.
Here we go, kids.
Oh yeah, we're standing
Yeah.
at the checkout counter, and like the conveyor belt's going. This is before self-checkout. And I like kind of lean over the belt and I say to the cashier, hey, I'm really sorry. We just picked my mom up from the home today, and we've got the biting thing under control, but the drooling might still be a problem. So I'm really sorry. And my mom's just like, Benjamin! And I was like, see what I'm talking about? And like, I keep leaning in and I'm just like, see what I'm talking about? Like, she's still
not
really
100%.
edgy. So her check's probably going to bounce too. So like, if it does, just let us know and we'll come back and pay cash. Like,
We're glad to do it.
for pride, we can't really say, yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will walk down, if my wife and I go shopping, I will walk down, if I can get in front of her in the aisle, I'll just walk and like knock stuff off the shelf behind me so that it falls on the ground right in front of her, and she's then like, stop it! You're making a mess! And then I'll stop at the end of the aisle when she's picking stuff up and be like, what are you doing? Like, come on!
When I was in high school, now this was inappropriate, and we've come a long way since I was in high school, but I'm going to tell myself, this will be my center moment for past and present, because it was mean to my friends, and now it's just insensitive to a great big community of people. But I loved, because we were high school kids, like we didn't have a lot to do, so we would just like, well, let's go buy frozen pizzas, or let's just go whatever. I'd get into the middle of an aisle with one of my buddies, and I'd be like, Matt, did you bring my medicine, Matt? And the farther he walked away, the louder I got, until like the store manager would come and help me. And so then I'm locked into character.
You're like, gotta stay here.
And then like I would shame my friends. Would be like, why did you leave me? Why did you leave me behind? And then
funny.
It's funny as stupid kids, but now we're like in tune to the problems of the world, and we're like, wow. How incredibly insensitive was that? Even though we were just being
dumb,
stupid,
immature.
Yeah, we were being stupid, immature, 16, 17-year-old kids. But I can handicap run when needed in a Kroger.
We
secret
would
talents, so.
I would pretend to, with Cammie, and I've not done this for a while. I need to break this out, but I would pretend to be blind, and so I would just put my hand on her shoulder, but I would keep my eyes open, but I would leave them unfocused or whatever, and I'd let her walk me into whatever. So when we were in Chicago recently. There was someone guiding an actual blind person coming across, and she turns to me and she said, They're playing our game.
They stole our line. Oh, that's awesome. They're playing our game.
In high school, my mom had, you've seen those hairbrushes that fold over like a flip phone?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So my mom had one of those, and that was early, like,
Yeah.
flip phone, cell phone, late 90s kind of a thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So she had one of those. And when we were in public spaces, I would just kind of be like, I need to get some gum out of your purse or something. And I'd kind of dig in her purse and pull that out. And then I'd just randomly pull it out and be like, hey, hello. And just use it as a phone and be like, yeah, no, we can do that. No, yeah, just order 10 of them, or just have whatever and make sure the conversation was loud.
Mm-hmm.
Hello? What? What are you doing?
Oh, yeah. You are. It's funny because as a kid, that's funny. But now that we're grown-ups, we have been around. I'll be shocked if you haven't. Captain Important at the airport, where we're boarding. And
anywhere.
No. Ted says that deadline's not going to work. No. You're going to get this done by Friday, or we're going to cancel the sale. And it's like, you're not that important.
Yeah, we don't care.
Like,
dude.
you're not that important.
Yeah.
So, sorry. I guess that was just a quick little dig at people I hate. So
people that annoy me in public spaces.
Captain, we could do a whole.
Is that
where we're going today? We can do a whole thing on that.
So I'm gonna use my
Cheese and rice.
the emergency room, or not the emergency, the waiting room story with Andy as my center moment.
Okay.
Although I think it was pretty heavenly.
I think that was pretty funny.
It's pretty great.
I had a really uncomfortable conversation with my mom. This was actually during COVID.
Was this about the birds and the bees?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And she didn't know how it worked.
Yeah.
And I was like, God,
I'm not sure how birds and bees copulate either. So if you could walk us through that. Give us hand diagrams.
I've got a 90-minute PowerPoint.
And the
So
bee.
no, we'll do a two-parter next time we record, because there's a whole PowerPoint that goes with it. It's really informative. Also fairly graphic. I mean, 4 birds and bees.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
4 birds and bees.
Because the bees are the aggressors.
Well,
right?
we're talking cross-pollination.
Yeah, well,
So,
come on now.
Yeah.
Horticulture and biology and science, Big Bang, all of it. It's all happening right here on the podcast. The best and the worst.
Sometimes it's fun to watch you drown and like hold the life raft in my hand, but just watch you splash around and be like, no, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna get it.
It's my life 24/7, man. Come on.
That's why people want to talk to you about this podcast.
We make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
You walk away from this podcast being like, well, at least I'm not those 2 turd buckets.
That's really. Oh, turd bucket's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to use that later today. I'm going to a party later today, and I'm gonna fire
use that.
turd
You fire.
bucket.
Yeah.
Hey, your kid's being a real turd bucket. Can you turn him down?
50 points for every time you use that in conversation this week.
Listeners, please let us know if you worked in turd
buckets.
Please make this a social situation.
100 points if you do it in a business meeting.
Okay, so there's the ante being up. Please don't do this, Patrick, or double the points if you get fired.
And if you do it in a place of intimacy with your significant other, 200 points.
Mr. Honeycutt, I think you're a real turd bucket. Oh, well, Gene, you're fired.
I think this marketing plan's just a real turd bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
What would you call that then? 100 points. I'm sorry, you would call the turd bucket 100 points?
I got a Texas podcast to listen to, so they know that I...
sorry, guys, we got to tweet real fast. No big deal. Just gonna tweet out.
Ben and Patrick will love this. It's going to be my center moment for the week.
Hey, by the way, we are on Twitter. Find us there.
And on YouTube.
So, wow, man, I feel like I'm all over the place.
Shock jocks. Yeah.
You texted me at 9:27 last night. I was already asleep.
I thought it was...
it was a great text.
Did you know you know the reference?
I do.
Okay.
I've never seen the movie, but I know the reference because it's pop culture, right? I know, shocker. I've never seen Tombstone.
I texted him last night, and I'm like, see you tomorrow, or see you in the morning, Huckleberry. Mm-hmm. And I was like...
And it was a picture of Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday.
Yes, and I waited for a long time to send the gift, because I thought, I'm going to give him a few seconds to...
Yeah, no.
This is a softball.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, he's either drunk in the gully...
Nope.
Or sleeping, gone to bed at his early bedtime.
I did go to bed, and that was normally I don't go to bed before 9:30, but
well, then there's a thing that happens. I'm gonna peel back the curtains here.
Okay.
There's a thing that happens where you kind of ghost me. You do these mini ghost sessions, and then usually you break the ghost session with bad news.
Oh, do I really?
Yeah. There's a
I
pattern
didn't know
there.
I do this.
No. So when I text Ben and I don't get a response, like usually the next response is like,
That's funny.
"Hey man, I'm breaking up, or we're not meeting, or
hey, the band sucks. You have no rhythm."
So like this morning, like I got up to get ready and do my thing, and I was like, I don't want to get over there too early and get set up because there's a good chance like he's going to be like, hey, not going to be able to go today, so need to reschedule. So like, so until I heard you coming up the stairs, I was like, oh, all right.
Oh, we're doing this.
I'll finish setting everything up.
Well, and kudos to you because when I got here, you were largely set up.
Well, I wanted to double check a couple things.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure Frustrated Ben didn't show up.
No, he's always lurking just beneath the surface.
He just makes crappy podcasts, so it's
he does.
That and Soccer Ben, those two guys, they're fired. They're off the payroll.
Hey, and just a quick heads up, 4 soccer games starting in 20 minutes, so stay tuned for that in next week's episode.
Oh boy, yeah.
No, my beloved Everton doesn't play till Monday, so we're safe. I didn't realize that. I do know though, I'm like a 3-minute or 3-day texter. So
you usually are pretty responsive.
So
I
like,
usually
if I get it, I'll get it back.
Yeah.
And you're one of the few people I like and care about correspondence with. And that sounds like a jerk thing,
That's
but
because
it's
you're
really
delicate, and I'm incredibly insecure.
It's
and if I don't get a response soon, I just spiral.
Because most people, I'll just be like, I'll get back to you when I get back. Like yesterday, my wife and I had an afternoon date.
And you didn't respond to her forever?
Yeah, I didn't. I sat at a different table.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you.
And I was like, we're spending time together.
Afternoon delight?
No, we don't. That's not this kind of podcast.
Not kind of. No sweet treats.
No, Matt.
No,
we
Turkish
had sweet treats because
Oh.
we had Matthew Miller's pretzel bites.
Those Miller's and pretzel bites. I don't even know.
So there's this place in Carmel. This is ostracizing everyone who doesn't live on the north side.
Okay.
There's this great little tavern called Matthew Miller's.
it.
It's not. It's actually not a great little tavern. It's really upscale and douchey, but
I mean, that could be Carmel's.
Welcome
Welcome
to douchey.
We're upscale and douchey.
They have a big draft beer selection, and they have these really, really good pretzel bites that come with like
How big is it?
It's like it's like 14 beers. I'm just kidding. It's more than that. But it comes with like a mustard sauce and like a garlic horseradish sauce, and they're great. But it's like my wife and I were just like, hey, it's gonna be nice on Friday. Let's just go to Matthew Miller's and have an appetizer and hang out. And it was really, really nice to have an afternoon date. I don't know why the crap I'm talking about this. Where did this start?
Afternoon delight. Responding to people through text messages.
Oh, so I got like 3 or 4 text messages while we were sitting there, and I was just like, no, I'll get back to those later. And I've still not gotten back to those people.
That's okay. It's not important. Tell me you had a hobby.
Sorry guys, I found a hobby.
I have a hobby that I do.
It's called dating my wife. I have a secondary hobby. It's called mowing the grass.
Dating Patrick.
Oh, well, you're really trying to horn in on them.
I'm getting in. I'm trying to be top 3 in your life.
Yeah, shoot for the moon and you'll land on the sun.
Yeah. Ouch.
So yeah, I'm not very good at responding to texts, but you, because we do this together, and I like you genuinely, I always try and respond to you in a timely manner. But if I'm asleep, ain't nobody.
And I know. After 9 o'clock, I'm getting into the gray area. If I don't respond to a text message right away, it just gets lost.
You are a quick responder.
Because that's the point of text message.
That's
how it works. Otherwise, it's an email.
I don't read those.
I love GIF.
Rock and roll.
GIFs or GIFs, however you want to call it. I give them the GIF. Because it's graphic interface format or something.
If it starts with the word graphic, it's not a GIF. It's not a GIF.
Yeah.
It's a GIF. Graphics, not Jaffic.
Ben's lost interest. He's checking the charge on the batteries. So I guess.
Told you guys I'm a little bit all over the place
today. He'll be looking for any kind of soccer game in about 10 minutes. He's like, can I watch
Bundesliga? Schnauzenfreud.
What was I talking about?
You were talking about get back the text messages quickly.
I love to send you gifts because I think you're like, I don't even know or care.
Man, oh my gosh. Freaking May 4th was recently.
Was it?
And all these people who are sending Star Wars gifts. May the 4th be with. Shut up. You're not funny.
It was funny about a decade ago.
When the first person realized it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it overshadows Cinco de Mayo. So I think it's pretty disingenuous.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I ate 0 tacos on May the 4th.
We went last night to our... I say that Mexican restaurants are like churches. Everybody has theirs. Like, yeah, like oh no, we go to the one over on H Street. Like it's like people talk about it the same way. Pay attention to when people are talking about their Mexican restaurants. They have the one they go to, and then well, sometimes we go visit this one, but this is the one this is our home.
What's your Mexican restaurant?
It's called El Palenque.
Oh, we've been there.
We've been there. Yeah.
You lied about the price of the tacos. I was upset.
It's okay.
They do like you though. They knew you were king when you walked in.
They do, but they had Cinco de Mayo T-shirts on, so we're like, see, it's not just a white holiday. They had it on there, and they talked about it had a little phrase or something of why it's celebrated. I think it was their
in Spanish or English.
France. Well, it said Cinco de Mayo, so it was in English.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry.
I do understand it, so I
meant the blurb.
I think it said Mexico's independence from France.
Written in English.
You know, I don't know. Like
you don't see.
I mean, Mexico written in Spanish it just has a special flurry over the X or something, and then
well, it's Mexico.
Yeah, right. And then France written in Spanish is like France, which is I feel like even someone not very even Ben in the supermarket could figure out what the English translation is, so I don't remember exactly what it was. Those are details.
Thank goodness for the pictures, though. Or I would have no idea what frijoles are.
Which was not busy. I expected the place to be packed.
Yeah.
It was not. That's my Mexican restaurant is so great. When I order a margarita there, they will give me a free refill.
He looks like he's had a week. Dios mío. Give him
and they already make them stiff. So when they give me the second one, I'm like, all right, Cammy, you absolutely get the keys to this one. You're walking me. You're driving us home 2 blocks.
Yeah.
We could walk, but we don't.
We don't have a Mexican place, but we don't go to church either.
That's probably it. Yeah. They go together. Like
you have to go to church to have your Mexican place.
I mean, Jesus was Mexican. Jesus, like it's all there. Like.
So back to soccer talk. There's this guy who plays for Arsenal. His name's Gabriel Jesus.
Oh.
But the British commentators are typically like
Jesus.
Yeah, but they will typically be like, "Oh to God, to Jesus!" And it's just great because every time Gabriel Jesus takes a shot, they just yell, "Jesus!"
Everybody crosses themselves.
So, and I have a buddy who's a big Arsenal fan, and it's well worth listening to the Arsenal games with the sound on just to hear them get excited because it really sounds like they're using it as like the.
So it sounds like Black Church.
Yeah. Well, no. It's like.
Oh yeah, it does.
It's like. It's like white trash guy hit his thumb with a hammer. Where Jesus, that's what it sounds like.
Like Mike Probst working on an automobile.
Those are your words, not mine.
Yeah, no. I came home from college. I went to college to study the pastorate and Christian ministries, and I had done a number of projects growing up, and projects with my dad just always incited a slur of cussing. And so, I remember coming home from college, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna have you help me out on the some automobile repair that he was gonna do." And I was like, well, do we want to just sit here and drink some coffee and cuss for 15 minutes? And then maybe by the time we get out there, we've cussed enough in here that the problem out there will have fixed itself? Yeah, you're real smart. I don't know. I just know how this works.
Dad, let's just sit here and cuss for a while and see if the car just fixes itself.
I mean, obviously those incantations help the process. And so maybe if we just do the incantations, maybe the work will just be easy when we go out there. I don't know. Maybe we can. He wasn't interested in experimenting with that.
For a long time, we tried to police our cussing around the house for my wife's son, and we were like, let's try to, because he was young. Like when we moved into our house, he was 9, something like that. So we're like, let's just try not to do it. And so then one night we're sitting on the couch and we hear him in the game room. And this is like recently, not like when he was super young, but recently. And I'll just look at him and be like, well, he got it from you. He gets that from you. But,
I'll bring Mike Probst into this again. My parents used to do Nana Camp, is what they call it. I don't know why.
Oh, you were talking about this.
I don't know why it wasn't Nana and Pawpaw Camp, but Dad just got forgotten. Shoved
he
into
was
the
cussing in the garage.
Probably. But they would hold them they would keep all the grandkids at their house for a week. And this is, they were young, under the age of 10, all the grandkids. And I remember after one of the first trips, our kids came back home. And we're sitting around the dining room table, and I think Asher and Hines maybe ran outside. And it was summer, so the air conditioner was on. And the boys ran outside and left the door open. And Kim was like, why do they always leave the door open? And Jada instantly is like, well, it's like they're raising a goddamn barn. And we're like, and we look at, like, as soon as it came out of her mouth, like, her eyes got like saucers, and she's like, that's what football says.
Oh my
God. I
God.
don't want to say that. Like, she just started bawling. She's
That's funny.
And it sounded just like
your dad?
The spirit of Mike Probst had possessed Jada.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was hilarious. She was distraught. She's like, I don't want to talk like that.
Oh, well, lean into your center side there, Jada. I remember growing up.
The influence of the grandparents.
Yeah, growing up, it was funny because, like, my folks are both really religious, like militantly religious people.
Oh, okay.
And not in a good way.
Yeah.
Not in like an understanding way. More of like the hellfire and brimstone kind of way.
Sure, yeah.
And,
that's good for everybody.
You knew Pop was upset if he cussed.
Oh.
And I probably only heard Pop cuss 4 or 5 times my entire life.
Wow.
But when he was at the height of his anger, he would let one go, and you'd be like, "Oh, okay, he means business."
We just went
now.
too far. Yeah.
He means business now. But he was always really good. He like held that back.
Uh-huh.
He's always been a very disciplined guy, like
Sure.
emotionally,
Sure.
and so like he knew how to just like use it when you needed it. Oh,
Yeah.
Case in point, great story for you. So before my parents were married, my stepdad was my dad's best friend.
Yeah.
And he ran his own business, and he needed some secretarial help. So my mom and the wife of the
Your dad
local
passed
pastor,
away. Your
Correct.
stepdad did not swoop in and break up a family.
Correct.
Just for the listeners
Yep.
out there.
Yep. My dad died.
That was
when
not
I
his big center moment.
Nope,
I
my-
broke up this family.
Yeah, so my stepdad broke up the family, and hope you're not busy because we're going to go long today into my childhood. No, my dad passed away when I was a wee lad, and my stepdad married my mom 4 or 5 years later.
That backstory is important because
They're
they're
like,
like, what?
oh wow, that's
So his best friend took his
Boy,
wife. Yikes.
so the Ben and Cammy podcast is a euphemism. So no, the Pop needed some secretarial help, so my mom and the local preacher's wife decided they would help because they had secretarial background stuff.
Oh boy. Okay.
So, but Pop had this little office in town, in our hometown, and Mom and Holly decided one day, and Pop has big sweet tooth.
Okay.
Loves cake, pie, everything like that. They decided, we're going to make him a mud pie. So they make him the crust, homemade crust, but then that black Indiana soil, they just mix it up to make it look like chocolate filling.
Oh.
Put it in there, and then put whipped cream on top. And then they wait. And they wait. And they wait. And they wait. And they wait. Jim and Holly move out of town. He's called to a different area of the state where he's practicing ministry. Dad dies. Later, Mom and Pop get married. You fast forward, no joke, like 30 years. Apparently, my parents are lying in bed one night reading. And Pop just looks at Mom and goes, I spit that pie all over the office. And she was like, what? He goes, that day was hot. He's like, and he was a forester. And he's like, I came in from the woods and I saw that pie sitting on my desk that said, with a little note that said, hope you had a great day, the girls. And he goes, I cut myself the biggest slice of that pie. and I put it on a plate.
Who are the girls?
My mom and Holly, his secretarial help.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that's what we called the trees.
No. His secretarial help. Back when you could still call secretaries, I guess, actually. And he...
office admins.
But yeah, he's
Was
like...
day for that?
Yeah, it was just a couple weeks ago.
Was it?
I celebrated my administrative assistant.
There you go.
Yeah.
With a mud
She was
pie?
very happy. No. I got her a Starbucks gift card and some balloons.
That's every office administrator, secretary got across the country.
Yeah, it's safe.
Yeah.
You can't. Nothing's wrong. You can't take him to lunch one-on-one. So yeah, and he's just like, and I took the biggest bite of that pie and I spit it all over the office and then I cleaned it up and I threw the pie away. And she goes, "Why'd you never say anything?" He goes, "Because you've waited 30 years to hear it." So it's like 11:30 at night. My mom gets out of bed and calls Holly. And she's like, "I don't care if I wake her up. She has to know we got the payoff."
That's right.
We had to wait 30 years, but we got the payoff.
That thing's been building capital ever since.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good story. That's fun.
Yeah. So, but that encapsulates Pop. He's just the greatest dude you can know.
That is not Mike Probst. Mike Probst lets him fly.
Yeah.
You let him fly.
Yeah. No, Pop won't.
Then my mom pretends that she doesn't, but she does.
She farts too. All women fart, Kay. Actually, you're recovering from a procedure. I'm sorry, Kay. We'll dial that back. Let's walk that back. We'll do it another time. Oh, speaking of walk that back, I don't know how we are on time.
We got 5 minutes.
Okay.
You got a saint moment?
No, I'm going to tell my wife instead. This is great. So I was telling you yesterday we had a day date.
Scoop, lean in, folks.
And my wife doesn't. Her brain is just always going. So she sometimes doesn't think about what she says. So we're talking about her son really wants to go to Yellowstone. And she's like, so I was thinking we plan a vacation out to Yellowstone. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I really wished it was New York, because she's like, I'm comfortable in New York. You used to live there. Like we can do things and we can like separate. And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I know how to fly fish, so we'll be fine in Wyoming. And she was like, well, yeah, I guess I don't know if I want to like vacation as a threesome. And I was like, nope, you're going to walk that one back. And she was like, oh, right. I mean like vacation like a three-way. And I was like, nope, still wrong.
Not helping.
Still wrong. Try it again. And she's like, family vacation? And I was like, yes. Family vacation is what you're looking for. Like, gosh, that's weird.
Your guys' other hobbies are really... It's really complicated the conversation.
Why'd you have to make that so weird? She's like, I wasn't even thinking about what I was saying, and I was like, no, that's the worst part. Is that's your subconscious speaking, and we're shopping for couples. So
yeah, well,
wait, what?
I don't know. That's good. Saint moment. I'm gonna give. I don't know if I have anything.
Well, here's the good news. We are batch recording today.
Yeah.
Which means we have 2 more episodes after this to figure out if we have any saint moments or not.
It's ugly. It's going to get ugly.
I have, saint moment, I have never given someone a mud pie. I have thrown food at people, which is more on the sinsy side. But, yeah, I don't mess with people's food.
No.
And I don't mess with people who make my food.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a very good person, so that's I can give you center moments for days.
Took you 37 episodes to figure that out.
No, I've just been trying to carry this facade for that long.
Is it heavy to carry around a facade? I've heard about him.
Whew, it ain't light. He's my brother. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. I don't know.
He ain't heavy. He's just awkward.
People we offended today. We offended
Amy again.
Again. There's a good chance we offended Kay. Probably Mike.
We offended people of like the mentally handicapped community.
You did.
I sure did.
Jerk. I offended the blind community.
Yeah.
They didn't see it coming.
Wow.
Sorry.
You are so proud of yourself for that joke. Oh, guys, he loved it.
That was pretty easy.
He loved it. That felt good, didn't it? Carry that facade around. I'm not sure if we used the word right.
There's another saint moment there for it. Just killing it. I couldn't let that one go.
Yeah.
What did you learn today?
I learned that you and your wife walk around like you're blind.
It's good fun. She would do it. She was a horrible guide. She's a horrible guide dog.
She guides me through a podcast once a month. I learned that she jokingly talks to you about she and I's podcast.
Well, you know,
Makes me feel better that I brought it up.
She just wishes she had a hobby, other than.
Oh, I learned that this is a hobby.
Yeah.
I legit learned that like 2 hours ago.
I'm glad you finally have come to embrace this, and that it's just as much yours as it is mine.
I learned one more thing.
You're not
today.
here captive. Oh.
It took 37 episodes, but Eddie finally talked. Finally got the microphone mic'd up.
Eddie's
for
from
him.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You know, he's got things to say. We kept him behind the
Up
bar.
yours, guys.
Way too long. Good stuff. Here's the blessing or the spirits. Oh.
That's all I had to say.
Is that from the dentist? Is that your dentist spit? The fan, the sucker straw.
Oh,
They kinda
do your outro and then or do your blessing.
Oh,
do your
the
spirit.
spirit.
Do your spirit.
The spirit is
And then we'll get into it.
just like
An old pal,
Campari.
Campari.
That's what I said. Campari.
Calamari.
Calamari. Don't stick the calamari in your cocktail. Just like Campari.
We went from basketball coach at Kentucky to Italian liqueur to fried squid.
You know, it's we cover all the topics here at Center Sync Podcast. We are at the forefront of all things cool and relevance.
I loved it. Your spirit, just like
I got
Campari.
it. Just like Campari. When you know the elements of life are coming at you that you don't enjoy, be mindful of yourself. Be aware. Take them in small doses. That way you can enjoy the finer things in life that are around it. Yeah. I'll let you speechless. You had one more nugget for us.
I like to finish other people's sentences in my head when they start. And you had like that pregnant pause of just like Campari. I heard, don't climb into Ben's mouth. Just like Campari, stay out of Ben.
Do those things and you'll be better off in life. I hope you enjoyed the ad that's at the front of this that we're going to record later. This is a fast forward, reverse, back that thing up, just like Missy Elliott.
Yeah, you just got to back it up.
Back it up.
Thanks for listening.
Drop
guys.
down, drop it in, reverse it.
We will see you next week.
Well, we won't.